I know I am over her, but my mind rejects the thought.
Alright
Does
guys,
she
I'm
feel the
recording this
same?
game for a school project, so no swearing.
Shit.
For decades, video games have allowed players to enter another world and become someone else, throwing them into a different story each time. But did you know that you're able to play video games with anyone at any point across the world at any time? The first online video game was known as a multi-user dungeon, or a MUD, and it looked like this. Now, in 2021, multiplayer games look like this.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
My mouse button hit my mic, dude. Shut up. And I wasn't getting the plan off anyways.
What you were?
But what if I told you that, for all the hours someone plays an online game, they were learning social and communication skills? What if I said that online gaming can improve a player's literacy and, bear with me here, video games can teach someone a new language? Sounds crazy, I know. Before I get too ahead of myself, what exactly is literacy? Literacy can be defined as the ability to read, write, speak, and listen in a way that lets us communicate effectively and make sense of the world. While reading and writing are very important aspects of literacy, they are only two parts of what makes someone literate. Speech is a large part of literacy, and a person can be literate in multiple kinds of speech. You wouldn't talk to your friends the same way you talk to your teachers, and vice versa. So, how can an online video game influence someone's literacy? Well, there are millions of online games that exist, and it would be impossible to categorize all the lingo that exists into one umbrella. So, for this reason, I'm going to be talking about only one game, Valorant. If you don't know, Valorant is one of the most popular FPS games at the moment. Matches in Valorant are 5v5 with one side being attackers, one being defenders. Each round, the attackers have to plant a spike, which is a bomb, on a site and wait for it to detonate. Defenders try to prevent the spike from being planted in the first place, and then after 12 rounds, the teams switch sides. Online gaming relies heavily on communication between players if you want to win the game. See an enemy? Tell your teammates. About to die? Ask your teammates for support. Gonna rush the enemy? Communicate with your team to group up and rush together. When you get your team to effectively communicate, you begin to work better together rather than just as individuals. But in online matches, you don't have time to list off every detail on enemy. There's just too much going on and it's happening too fast. So, how do you effectively communicate? Callouts are essentially the gamer's jargon. There are thousands of phrases that can be used to describe hundreds of in-game scenarios. A player might use a callout in a given scenario to quickly and efficiently tell their teammates what needs to be known. In Valorant, there are callouts for both players and the map they're on. Here are some examples of map callouts.
Wait, are they B or A?
They're A.
Spike B?
Spike down B.
He's mid.
Satchel up.
To heaven? Okay, so let's break these down. B or A refers to which site the enemy is on. So when they say they're A, that means there's an enemy A. When they say spike B, that means that the spike is dropped at B. He's mid refers to the middle part of the map, not on any particular site, and to heaven refers to the highest point above a site. Now we're going to look at some player callouts.
I hit raise hard. Raise is about raise is hard.
The Reyna? Ah.
Spike down A.
Viper tagged 130.
Flank.
It could have rotated.
Hit hard just refers to the fact that you or a teammate have heavily damaged an enemy. Tagged means the same thing, but more specific because when you die, it displays how much damage you did to an enemy. Flank refers to the fact that the enemies are going around behind you and trying to catch you off guard. And rotating is what you do when you go from one site to another to try to lose the enemy. These are just some clips I recorded, so let's take a look at a professional player. I'm not going to break down this whole clip because there's a lot of callouts, so see if you can find all of them yourself.
Last player standing.
One mid, one site. Be heaven now.
Can we fix it?
No.
enemy remaining.
You have an 8, 8, 8, 8.
His fluency allows him to communicate with his team and for his team to communicate with him. If they had to think about everything they were saying before they said it, then the match would have a very different outcome. It's weird to consider that you can be fluent in a language of a video game, but there are plenty of real-world examples to back this up. For example, consider the military. They use callouts all the time. Consider hospitals. They use medical lingo to shorten their phrases and get the message across to their other staffmates. Valorant is just one example of millions of online games. Although strange and chaotic, there is much to be learned about the way gamers talk to each other. As I've shown you, during matches, Valorant players are able to communicate to each other in short phrases and words that describe everything their team would need to know. The more a person practices and plays, the more fluent they become in this quote-unquote language. I hope everything I've said today has helped to show you the many forms literacy can take and how there is no single purpose for literacy to be used.